Complete Science Guide Ecology and Ecosystems Part 4.1 Section 1 of 2 Ecology. Ecology is the study of how living things interact with each other and with their environment. Let's take a look at living things. Some of the living things are plants, animals, fungi, and microorganisms. Plants. Producers that make their own food using sunlight. Microorganisms. Tiny living things that decompose matter and recycle nutrients. Air. All living things need air to survive. Non-living environment. It includes sunlight, water, air, soil, temperature, rocks, and nutrients. Ecosystem. All the living things in an area and the non-living factors that interact with it, or they interact with. Animals. Consumers that get energy by eating plants or other animals. And habitat. The natural home where organisms live and find what they need to survive. So ecology helps us understand and protect the delicate balance of nature so that both people and the planet can thrive. We must conserve nature, sustain the resources, and support life. Ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living organisms and the non-living factors in an area that interact with each other. So bald eagles are consumers, trees are producers, deers are consumers, sunlight, rocks, water, air, and soil are non-living factors. Algae is a producer. Ducks are consumers. Fish are consumers. Turtles are consumers. Aquatic plants are producers. Aquatic insects are consumers. So an ecosystem is basically a community. And in an ecosystem, living things such as plants, animals, and microorganisms, and the non-living factors such as sunlight, water, air, soil, and rocks, work together in a connected system. Living things are called biotic. Non-living things are called abiotic. These create interactions and dependency on each other. Together, there's a balance and survival takes place. This word is detritivores. This word is decomposers. Let's say it again. Detritivores, decomposers. Some organisms such as earthworms, insects, snails/slugs are technically called detritivores, not pure decomposers. So detritivores are things like bacteria and fungi. Decomposers, like bacteria and fungi, chemically break things down. They use enzymes to change dead matter into simple nutrients that go back into the soil. On the other hand, detritivores are earthworms, insects, and things like snails/slugs. So detritivores physically break it down. They physically break things apart. They can chew, bite, and grind dead matter into smaller pieces. Either way it goes, working together, decomposers and detritivores return nutrients to the soil by helping plants grow and keeping ecosystems healthy. Decomposers break down dead matter. Decomposers are living things that break down dead plants, animals, and waste. Fungi are things such as mushrooms and molds. Bacteria, tiny organisms that break down matter. Earthworms break down and mix matter into the soil. Insects, beetles, termites, and other insects eat and break down dead matter. Snails and slugs help break down dead plants and animals. Don't forget, earthworms, insects, snails, and slugs are scientifically categorized as detritivores. So let's look at the bottom of the picture. At the bottom, we see that when dead matter is broken down, nutrients are returned to the soil. This helps plants grow and keeps the ecosystem healthy. We go from dead matter to healthy nutrients returning to the soil, producing healthy plants. Now let's take a look at food chains and how they show how energy flow. So energy from the sun is passed from one organism to the next when one organism eats another. Energy flows in one direction from the sun to plants to animals. Producers. Plants use energy from the sun to make their own food. Primary consumers. The grasshopper eats the plant and gets energy. Secondary consumers. The frog eats the grasshopper and gets energy. Tertiary consumers. The snake eats the frog and gets energy. Quaternary consumers. The hog eats the snake and gets energy. Now, let's take a look at food webs. They show multiple connections. In a food web, many food chains connect. If one food source disappears, others can still survive. So what is a food web? A food web shows how many plants and animals are connected in different ways for food and energy. For example, if the grasshoppers disappear, birds can still eat caterpillars, mice, or chipmunks. And if the mice disappears, snakes can still eat frogs, birds, or chipmunks. So many connections keep the ecosystem balanced. So food webs have many connections so nature can stay strong and balanced. Energy comes from the sun. The sun is the ultimate source of energy for almost all living things on Earth. Producers, such as plants. Plants use the energy from the sun to make their own food. Primary consumer, which are herbivores. Herbivores eat plants and get energy from the sun. Secondary consumers, such as carnivore. Carnivores eat herbivores and get energy from the sun. Tertiary consumer are the top carnivores. They eat other animals and get energy from the sun. And last but not least, decomposers. Decomposers would be the bacteria and the fungi. So decomposers break down dead matter and return nutrients to the soil. Therefore, all energy in a food chain starts with the sun. Energy decreases as it moves up the food chain. Take a look at this picture. More energy from the bottom. And as it gets higher, there is less energy. At each step, most energy is used for life processes and lost as heat. So only a small amount is passed to the next level. How energy is lost? Organisms use energy for movement, growth, reproduction, maintaining body temperature, and other life processes. So most of this energy is released as heat and not passed on to the next level. So let's look at the big picture. What is the big picture? Only about 10% of the energy at one trophic level is transferred to the next level. So the key takeaway to it all is that energy decreases as it moves up the food chain because most energy is used by organisms and lost as heat at each level. Less energy at each step equals fewer organisms that can be supported at higher level. Have made it to the end of the presentation. Like, comment, and subscribe. Presented by MAT Creations and Mindset Motivation Hubs. Bye for now, family and friends. We'll see you next time.